So that's kind of where I've been going with the accessory dwelling units, and we talked a little bit about the tiny home, the accessory dwelling unit. Um, to just really get a clear understanding, it is real estate. It has to be attached to a permanent foundation, and it has to be put in a place where there's already an existing structure. But this is a concept and a niche that is evolving. It's kind of like, now we're in the Olympics watching the surfing. It's the wave is building and it's constantly changing. It's never the same from city to city, county to county, state to state, but the need is the same. And the solution, they call it very innovative, is the same, but the implementation part is what varies from lot to lot, city to city. And so ADUs are real estate, and in real estate, it has that value that it will increase. So that's why it cannot be like a tiny home on wheels or being able to be moved. It has to be attached to a permanent foundation, and then it will increase the property value. Now, in the Inland Empire, in California, where I'm located, I really got excited about ADUs because I felt we had, the biggest lots and some of the smallest houses. We have areas where up until recently, we're able to only put one house on 5 acres. We have one 800 square foot home on 5 acres. And what the homeowner has to do is a lot of times do weed abatement. We have fires, we have different things. So code enforcement is make sure that, the weeds are down and whatever. Now with the ADU laws, I mean, is in the evolving ADU laws, we can take a 5 acre lot and you could actually end up with 8 units on that lot. I mean, you start, and we think in terms of phases. So say we have this home and it has a detached garage. So we convert the garage. That's low hanging fruit. We can do that. Generally, that, the infrastructure is there. Hopefully, if the house isn't too old, we can use the foundation as is. But just say $100,000 can get you that garage converted, and you can rent it out. I mean, in the Inland Empire, you can definitely rent it out for $15 to $2,000 a month. So you have that income. That can and the note, $100,000 right now, according to my financial partners, for every $100,000 on the ADU, your note is probably about $550 to $700 a month on just the payment for the ADU. But if you're paying $700 a month on the loan, but you're collecting $1,500 a month on the rent, you have a positive cash flow. We've seen, politicians and programs talk about, what a difference $600 a month would make to the average family. You can get that now with the ADU. So one thing when I'm talking to families and trying to help them navigate is to understand this is different. Don't think of it as just taking on a debt. It's like $250,000. Oh my God, that's a lot of money. I mean, how am I going to pay that back? That's going to eat up all my equity. Well, on the other side of that, it's going to bring in, $2,000 a month. You're going to clear, after paying the note about, let's say $700, $800 a month. And not only that, because you have put this brand new structure on your property, your $500,000 house is now kissing $1 million. Then you go and you leverage that. And so for now you can put another ADU on there, and then you got another $2,000. That money is what you start collecting, handling like a business, either putting it under a business structure or under your trust so that it can qualify for the loan because of the revenue that's been generated to build the subsequent ADUs. They have SB 9 is one of the regulations they have now that allow you to split the lot. Because ADUs, I do have to say the ADUs have to be, they're residential. So residential classification in real estate covers units from 1 to 4 units. It's considered residential. If you get up to 5 units, it's commercial. So ADUs right now only been able to be built on residential lots and up to 4 units. When I said earlier that you can get up to 8 units, the way you do that is that you would split that 5 acre lot into 2.5 acre lots and then build 4 units on each side. Now, there's some strategy that goes with that. We have lenders, contractors, and builders that we work with that have these strategies down. But from the consulting standpoint, I can tell you that if I had this lot and I was talking to you and you had this deep lot, like we have, I'm looking at one client over in the Rialto, the lot is like 196 square feet deep, right? So you got this long lot that if I had the plans, we would look at a small lot development. Have to look at it like a small lot development. How can we leverage this lot to the max? And so based on the current laws and based on the trajectory of what is to come, because ADUs are here to stay, housing shortage is real, and they're going to keep nipping away to make it more accessible for us to build more units. And so if I had this deep lot, my thinking would be that if based on my budget and what I could afford, I would build the first house, the first detached ADU as far back from the main house as I could. So I'll put it on the back half of the lot. Once I do that and put up a vinyl fence and make some physical visible barriers, okay, I would do that. What that does is that you're taking the initial detached unit, and yeah, it's going to be longer to attach the utilities and so forth. You have to trench longer and everything, but you have that house far enough back that when you split that lot, that ADU becomes the main structure. Because remember, the ADU can only be built with a main structure. So you go to the city and you say, I'd like to subdivide, my lot, and I have an ADU in the back. And I think in some cities, like I say, it varies from city to city and county to county, but in some it has to be at least 800 square feet to become the main house. So you build this 800 square feet ADU in the back half of your property. You then subdivide it, and then you have 2 units on this lot that used to be one, and you can add 3 units to each of those. And that's how you come up with the 8 unit. And you can still own it, okay? Or you can sell it. There are people out there who are renting property to build ADUs on and make arrangement with the property owner. There are people that are helping you subdivide the lot, and they purchase the back lot so they can have 4 units in the back and you have your 4 units in the front. Maybe you own or occupy one. Okay, so they're getting opportunities to enable people to actually build ADUs and take advantage of these laws. But again, as a consultant, and where I walk in the middle is that a lot of homeowners they've never built anything. They've never built a home. I reflect back when my husband and I bought a brand new house, and we sold a home and we moved in with my sister-in-law for, it's supposed to have been 6 weeks, and I believe it ended up being 6 months. And that was because that builder and developer got behind schedule. There was issues, there was confusion. And I look back at that and I'm like, this was a major builder who had the knowledge, who had the team, who had the infrastructure, had the permits, and they still got behind and they still had issues that come up. Now they're saying, okay, hey, homeowner, you got a home, let's build something. And there's so many moving parts. And so there was a need for someone to, be kind of in the middle and bridge that gap to really understand what the homeowner goal is, what they're dealing with, what their family questions are, and so forth, and the financing and the planning, and getting that all laid out and employing the right team to build the ADU, because the ADUs can be, as I mentioned earlier, we can do garage conversions, whether it's attached garage or it's a detached garage. The garages that are attached are really low hanging fruit because they're right there in the house. There's no trenching. The utilities are already there. If it's a fairly new house, the foundation is there. And so the garages are not, built for long-term living. So you do have to put in some type of installation installation in the roof and different things like that. But it's a lot cheaper if it's attached to the house. Then we have the detached garage. Some of those in older homes built, let's say 1929 or something. Sometimes we found that it's easier just to um, tear down the garage and rebuild, but that gives another set of regulations. But if you can build it within the same footprint and bring it up, that detached garage can be an awesome ADU as well. And then the ADUs can be modular, and meaning that the majority of the structure can be built in a factory and delivered to your property. Now it's built to the same building code as someone putting it together in your backyard from the wood being delivered and them nailing it together. They just do it in the factory. Benefit of that a lot of times, especially across the country when we had all the different type of weather events going on, is that if you're building most of the structure inside of a building or a manufacturing off plant, then you don't have those delays. And so we can get the housing built and delivered more efficiently than if you're in an area that has a lot of tornadoes, we have a lot of snow. We have to be very cautious about the time of year where we can build and so forth. And so ADUs can be modular and they can be delivered by crane. People do cranes over, and put them in the backyard because they don't have access to the side. But they've got some very good innovations going on now where they have these little robotic dolly type of things that can go into spaces between your fence and the back to get to the backyard. As long as you have 4 feet, they can get back there and they can build it on your property. So ADUs can be modular. We have a manufacturer that's doing light grade steel. And so with all the fires we have in California, climate conscious people, and different things going on, light grade steel is an option that's really coming to the forefront. And they can deliver those steel frames and frame them up in the backyard. Have some videos and some information. If you're interested in that, please reach out to me. But these are awesome. I went down recently and visit a couple of our projects in West Hollywood and Reseda, and they were just awesome with the high ceilings, with the windows, with the energy efficient appliances and so forth, and to see how they start from just a little storage area in the back and make this beautiful home. It's just really amazing. And then, they have the fire resistant paint. We have earthquake shut-off valves. There are a lot of innovations coming, but we're still educating and having to support people to understand the basic construction techniques we've been using for hundreds of years now, which is wood and so forth. But with things in the rainforest and the wood and the fires and so forth, what we're finding is that a lot of the available products to build, say from wood, it's not working because they're not being able to age right. It was telling a story. I was at a conference not too long ago that out in Palm Springs area when it's getting to be 100 and some degrees out there, that not only do you have to be concerned with the workers and the scheduling of building, but when they got the wood there and when they unbound the wood, that it wasn't in 24 hours, that it was warped and some of it wasn't even usable because it had not been dried properly. It hasn't been aged. So we are really getting into a situation where is not going to be our primary foundation for building. And that's why people are working on 3D printing. I mean, there's just all kind of innovations going on we have to get the basics now where we are and what the future holds because we're just behind. We have a hard time, understanding how to convert a garage and how to get a stick build or ground up construction in a backyard, let alone now someone's going to bring a machine and they're going to 3D print a structure and and put the appliances in there and you're going to be able to go in there and live in there within 48 hours. We got to catch up. So that's kind of where I'm at now is that we do have to just understand where this tide is leading and to get a basic understanding. Now, I recently finished my second book on ADUs, Unveiling ADUs. It's available on Amazon. But what I did is just a comprehensive introduction. I just felt like with all the questions that I get and people I come in contact with, we needed something in our hand to read and to refer to see some pictures and to get a basic understanding. And a lot of people in this niche are not writing books. I know Cole Peterson did one on the backyard revolution, and he's been kind of like godfather of ADUs out of Oregon and so forth. But what happens is that it's changing so fast that people are scared to say anything. So I did this book to kind of help homeowners and the average people just, get something that they can look at and start getting an understanding of the basis, the foundation. It's going to change. New laws are in the pipe now. For the first of the year, we're halfway through, 2024, 2025 will be here in a minute, and there's going to be new laws. And the longer we take to get a basic understanding, to get in the game off the sideline and start taking advantage of this for our family and as an investment and wealth building opportunity, the further behind we're going to be.